Super Rugby AU Round 8 Dream Team, and largely this is going to be made up of guys from the Reds and the Brumbies because they had pretty convincing wins. At the weekend, I have managed to sneak a player from the Force and the Tars into the lineup. I almost got two guys from the Tars, but not quite. It's just the one. And he's my first guy. If you have not seen the way I do these videos before, it's kind of like rugby fantasy. Guys tend to switch around positions, so they're kind of loosely put into these fields. Tom Robertson from the Waratahs, and one word is essentially the scrum. That's two words. Scrum. Scrummaging. They had the wood over the Brumbies pack. They may have not got a very good result in the end, but their scrummaging, the Tars, was very good, and the Brumbies have been surprisingly poor with their scrum. Their maul seems to still be doing the job, but the scrum has been pretty average. Robertson had one pass, one run, 1 metre, 3 tackles from 3 attempts, which is 100%. He didn't concede any penalties, and at scrum time, he was pretty immense. So he is my pick. He didn't quite have as much of a highlight-worthy game as this man, Taniela Tupou, and to be fair, I didn't wear any Reds gear at the weekend because it was in the wash. After watching that defensive effort from the week before, I wore the Reds gear all weekend, and sure enough, it needed a wash. Didn't get it washed in time, so I'm sitting here in a rather fresh Reds top, and I wouldn't be able to blame myself if I wore it for another week. That performance, it was another end of the spectrum. It wasn't a defensive shift, it was full attack, with a bit of defense as well. But yeah, Tupou, man, he was magnificent. 8 runs, 45 run meters. Remember, this guy's a prop. 2 clean breaks. He's a prop. 4 defenders beaten, 3 passes, 2 offloads, 4 from 5 tackles. 2 penalties conceded is a bit. That's kind of his standard fare. He did win a turnover. He also had 2 turnovers conceded. Like, he slipped up trying to go for a step when he could have had a try on his own. His passing was slick. Goodness gracious. If you haven't watched that Reds game, you probably should watch it. Not if you're a Force fan, it would be one to forget, but it was glorious stuff on display from the Reds and Taniela Tupou. Imagine how good that guy's going to be when he's in his late 20s, early 30s. Still pretty young for a prop. Another Reds guy, I've gone with Brodie Payen. Amosa, the lineout operated pretty good, 88%. He had a try assist, 9 runs, 31 run meters, 2 clean breaks. 4 from 7 tackles, I guess, is a slight black mark. I don't think he's been included in the initial setup from Dave Rennie. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he was included. He did win a turnover. All round pretty good. He doesn't have many caps for the Wallabies, but if he keeps playing like that, maybe Dave Rennie will change his mind. Unless he already has, in which case I've got a bad memory, which is also quite possible. Locks, I go on Murray Douglas, and I only remembered him having 1 great run in this game, and then I looked up his stats. 1 run. 1 run for 28 meters and 1 clean break. So he did it all in one go. When he runs the ball, he apparently makes a good effort out of it. He also had 4 line-out wins and a line-out steal and managed the turnover, so he was a very busy man. 6 from 6 tackles, 3 passes. What can I say? The Brumbies were doing pretty well, and he was part of that. And likewise, Angus Blythe, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's also been snubbed from Dave Rennie's initial players of interest, whatever they're calling it. 2 runs, 1 meter, and 6 passes is not that phenomenal, but 12 from 13 tackles is a heck of a shift, and he keeps putting in shifts like that. Plus, he had 4 line-out wins, so his value in the air probably shouldn't be underestimated as well. There's more Reds on the way. This guy's putting Michael Hooper's job under a bit of threat, Liam Wright. 3 runs, 8 meters, and a defender beaten is nothing to write home about with the ball in hand. 8 from 9 tackles is also not the highest by any means from the Reds that week. I mean, look at Blythe, he had 12. But it's when he's the arriving player rather than the tackler itself that you probably should be worried, because he managed 4 turnovers. 4. He is phenomenal. He also got a line-out steal, so he stole 1 in the air. 2 line-out wins. 2 passes. He is a phenomenal, phenomenal player. The Aussies just seem to breed open side flankers. I don't know what's the deal. At number 8, though, I'm going with Pete Samu from the Brumbies. He had a couple of tries, and man, he was in top form. He was very confident when he had ball in hand. 4 runs and 2 tries is a pretty good return. 26 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 2 defenders beaten, 9 from 11 tackles, 4 line-out wins, and a line-out steal. Man, also very useful. He's another line-out option. He's a dynamic ball carrier. Aussies and loose forwards, I'm telling you. And I got another one. Obviously, they're all Aussies. But Frieza McRae. I'm not sure if I spelled his name right now that I look at it. But either way, he was probably the best of the lot. He doesn't seem that big, but he's got a big engine. He had a try. 15 runs for 105 run meters. He was just causing absolute havoc. 7 passes, 4 defenders beaten, and 4 clean breaks. Remember, he's a loosey, not a midfielder. 7 passes, like I mentioned, 14 out of 16 tackles, also 1 a turnover. Combine him with Liam Wright, man. They got kind of both bases covered. I'm not used to McRae doing that kind of much with the ball, but he just kept doing it. The Reds theme continues with Tate McDermott. I think he has been included in that initial players of interest, whatever it's been called, and rightly so. He has been the Form 9. And get him in goal, man. 2 tries, 8 runs for 89 meters, 3 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten, 1 from 2 tackles and 3 turnovers conceded. I guess is a bit of a black mark, but the guy just sparks the attack, whether it's through himself. He could have had a hat-trick, really. He moved out to the wing for the end of that game. He either sparks it himself or he sets up somebody else. And he keeps the opposition thinking. You never know when he's going to take a quick tap. You've always got to be on your toes with that guy. So, yeah. Another Red, James O'Connor. When was the last time you saw somebody get 4 try assists? Well, it was at the weekend. James O'Connor had a try of his own and 4 try assists. 7 conversions and a penalty. I think he had 22 points. He's really putting his hand out. I wasn't convinced at all by him as a 10 at the start of the season. He's kind of a utility guy who can jump into 10 if needs be, but he's doing pretty bloody well at the moment. 15 runs, 62 meters, a clean break, 2 defenders beaten, 4 from 5 tackles. Top class. This guy's not a Red. Ira Simone from the Brumbies. Again, quietly been having a nice little season as Kurandrani gets dropped or rested, whatever it is, for a week. Simone inside that 13 jersey. He's in 12, obviously, but he's always, usually playing inside Kurandrani. 2 try assists, so he doesn't get the tries himself, but he helps set them up. 50 run meters, a clean break, 5 defenders beaten, and 6 from 8 tackles. I can't remember if he was on the list or not, but he should be, because he's just been consistently very good. Here's the force guy. I've gone with Kyle Godwin. He did miss a couple of tackles. It's interesting, though, because ESPN's got him with 12 out of 16. I don't remember him being that bad. 12 from 16 is okay, but it's not great. Rugby Pass had him with 15 from 16. I think that's maybe more realistic. One of them was a try saver. So he was a very busy guy. And when he had ball in hand, he actually looked pretty dangerous. Not that they had that many opportunities. 9 runs, 31 meters, a clean break, 4 defenders beaten, 4 passes, and like I mentioned, a bunch of tackles, including one that was a try saver. So on a losing effort, he still managed to stand out, which is a good effort from Kahu, who's all right as well. Outside backs, and we go with a Red, Filippo Dagunu. He's been electric as well this AU season. 2 tries for him almost seems like big deal, man. Where's your hat trick? Because he's just that lethal. 18 runs, 96 meters, 3 clean breaks, 5 defenders beaten, 4 passes, 2 offloads, and 3 from 4 tackles. I was running out of space to write those stats down because he just did an absolute bit of everything. Muirhead is not a fullback, but I've gone with 3 wingers this week. One of the Brumbies guys is Muirhead. He just looked dangerous as well. A try and a try assist, 68 run meters, 2 defenders beaten, 5 from 6 tackles. He's one that doesn't look that threatening again. Maybe it's a size thing. But sometimes, there's been plenty of small wingers out there. Shane Williams from Wales, Nihi Muniscato when he was fit from New Zealand. You don't have to be a Tinkili Noya to be a good winger, and he's kind of proven that case as well. And the last one, I've gone with Wright on the right wing. He was also really good. 2 tries from him, 47 run meters, 2 clean breaks, a defender beaten and 4 from 4 tackles. So it's nice to include some Brumbies and give the plaudits to the guys who aren't necessarily just the forwards. There's plenty of other guys I could have mentioned. Not all from the Reds and from the Brumbies. Like I thought Dempsey was pretty good. Hooper was alright, but he wasn't as good as old Liam Wright. So yeah, I thought Longbottom had improved from the Force, to be fair, because he'd been under the pump a wee bit thus far this season. So yeah, but it's a largely Red and Brumby made up squad, just because the results were that lopsided. Hopefully we get a bit of a closer round this week, but we will have to wait and see. The end of the competition is not too far away. Hopefully it's a good one. And yeah, as always, you guys let me know your thoughts. Who would you have had in your squad? And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.